Hello everyone! Today I'm giving you summer vibes because I'm talking about a show that's very summery. And that show is Outer Banks. I know, I'm exactly a year late, I think. The show had its main hype 1 year ago, so just the summer of 2020. And it's soon to be the summer of 2021, so I decided I'm gonna watch it now. I'm a bit late, but there's such a huge hype. Everyone was talking about it last year, so I want to see what it's about. And I have to say, I think it's kind of overrated. I think the show had a lot of hype, but it wasn't warranted. But I have to preface this by saying I still had a good time watching it. If you love the show, I get it. It was a lot of fun. I still binged the whole thing, so it must have had some merit for me. So I did have a great time watching it, but I think it's not the show that everyone said it was. I'm gonna tell you why in this video. Outer Banks is an action, adventure, mystery teen drama series created by Josh Pate, Jonas Pate, and Shannon Burke. And it premiered on Netflix in April of 2020. So it's set on this coast of Outer Banks in the US. So I think it's like North Carolina. In this area, there's a strong social divide between kind of the wealthy residents who go there kind of seasonally for summer and the working class residents who live there all the time, who basically work jobs to keep life on the island running and kind of serving the wealthy. And the show follows a group of teens who are part of the working class. And there's 4 of them and they're best friends and they hang out. They have summer jobs, but most of the time they're just chilling out on boats, swimming, having beach parties at night. And in this group of teens, there's one guy, John B, great name, who's kind of the main character, the kind of leader of the gang, and his father has been missing for half a year, a few months, I can't remember, a few months. And John B is convinced that he's alive. And through wanting to find his father, the gang comes across a treasure, or like a secret treasure that's buried somewhere, and they want to find it to kind of break out of their life in this kind of working class system of serving the wealthy and not having chances to do anything with their life. So the premise has everything I love in a story. There's a group of teens, they're friends, and they come across this mystery and then they come together to solve it, and it's like them scavenger hunting around the town and doing stuff. And for some reason the show kind of fell flat for me because I didn't know who the target audience was. Because on one hand it was extremely a teen drama, so it had OC California, Riverdale vibes, and then on the other side it had it was really brutal, and there was this kind of mystery and all these kind of baddies chasing them and all these kind of dramas happening, which was just a bit too serious, so it kind of mixed the two together, but for some reason it didn't work, because when it came to the relationships I was like, this is very cliche teen drama-y, and then suddenly someone got shot in the head and you were like, wait, what is happening? So it was trying to be kind of dramatic and serious, but the love lives and relationships were so silly that it took away from the seriousness of the storyline. The main cast is this main guy, John B. There's Kiara, she's kind of a rich girl from kind of the wealthier families because her family has a restaurant that's very successful. She doesn't want to hang out with the rich people, so she hangs out with the kind of working class kids because they get her more. Then we have Pope, he's kind of the brains of the gang. He's very, very smart, and he's got this chance to get a scholarship to go to a certain university, something like that. And then we have JJ, who's the classical surfer dude. He's kind of a wild card, he's a bit rogue, but he's very loyal at heart. He's a bit like a dog. And on the other side we have Sarah. She's kind of the princess of the wealthy kids, and she turns into the love interest of John B, the main guy. So it's like a Romeo and Juliet situation, 2 houses opposing, but the children love each other, I have to say the cast was beautiful. Looks wise, I'm not gonna talk too much about looks, but beautiful to watch. I see what they did there, stunning. But the main guy, John B, looked like handsome Squidward, and I couldn't unsee it. And it was the kind of classical thing where the others were alright, but the main guy just seemed a bit too old to play a 16-year-old boy. All the others were like 21, 22, so it's already a bit old. But I get it because there's like child acting laws and things. But the main guy is like in his mid-20s, I think. Or late 20s even, and he just looked a bit old. However, because the cast was so beautiful and all they ever did was like lounge outside, swim and party, I felt like they were the kids that would bully you at school. I didn't really like them because in real life I would have been terrified of them. I just couldn't relate to them in any way because they were so different to me. I know this is very personal, so maybe someone else was like, these are my people, but I just thought if I went to school with them, they would have been very mean, I think. The only person I really liked was Pogue. I thought he was the best because he was just a bit more normal, less roguish and crazy and living his best life. He worried a lot, which I thought was very needed in these situations because they were doing wild shit. And I have to say, I think this was on purpose, but my God, nobody was ever wearing shirts. There were so many scenes where I was just thinking, just put on a t-shirt or like just button up your shirt. It's just not that necessary to always be running around showing your muscles. Like, you're on a huge adventure, why didn't you wear a shirt? And I get that they're in water a lot. This was a choice. The showrunners decided we are not going to make these men wear tops. For me, the romance between the main guy, handsome Squidward, and the like princess of the rich people didn't really work because it's supposed to be like the biggest like plot line of the whole show. It's so romantic and dramatic, and we get to watch these children fall in love. But for some reason, it just didn't work for me. I think because it went too fast. They like hated each other, and then they go on this little adventure together, and then they're in love, which is fine. But then it's so dramatic at the end where they're like, I will go wherever with you, I love you, I would die for you, da da da. And you're like, this is set in like a few weeks or even days. How long have you been together? Like a week. I guess they are teenagers, so that makes it more realistic again, that it's so dramatic. But I just, as a viewer, I just couldn't kind of feel for them. I was like, yeah, they're nice, they're fine, they're a nice couple, but I don't see the drama as very realistic, or why would they be this like in love with each other after knowing each other for like, I don't know, 5 days. There I found the kind of friendship aspect more realistic, that they've been friends for years, that they would like sacrifice everything for each other. I thought that was really sweet. It just didn't really work with the romance because you were like, you literally hated each other a week ago. Another thing that sort of bothered me was the plot itself. I thought the first half was really fun. It was like these kids solving this mystery, but the second half was just too wild. In the second half of the show, like the last few episodes, I was just like, who is who? What is happening? I kind of lost interest in the whole mystery because it was just a bit too much, I think. In every episode, the plot was kind of the same. They always run into a problem, have to solve a certain thing, have to do something, like break into this house, steal this thing, and it's always them coming up with a plan, doing this thing, then someone discovers them or something goes wrong, and it's them running away from people. And that's what happened in every single episode. Something happens, someone's running away, it's very dramatic. And after like the 5th episode, I was like, they're breaking into another house, and they're getting another thing. I do like that, usually. This like, we have a mystery we have to solve, we have a challenge, and we have to do this to get there, but something goes wrong, and they have to kind of spontaneously come up with something, and I usually like it, but it just got too repetitive after a while, and it just got more extreme and more extreme, where at some point you were like, what? Really? What is happening? What is happening? And that then led to the ending, which I found so depressing. Like, it was just so weird. Spoiler here if you haven't seen the ending. The fact that John B, aka Handsome Squidward, is being chased by the whole island for murder. He's like a juvenile, and his love interest Sarah is like hiding him from everyone. And at the end they're on a boat in a storm and the FBI is there. It was just a bit too much. It was wild. I just couldn't take it seriously anymore at the end, which I found such a shame because the story was so interesting and fun, and it was just so over the top. The fact that it got weirder and weirder throughout the show makes me fear that it's gonna be like a Riverdale. Because if you think back to the good old days, Riverdale season 1, everyone loved it. Everyone thought it was so great. And then season 2 came on, and it just got weirder and weirder and weirder. And I feel like Outer Banks might go that way because it's also teens and adventures and murder, and it has like this huge fan base now, so I'm worried it'll turn into a Riverdale where they just keep writing and writing and it just gets weirder and weirder. And yeah, I see that happening. There were such random scenes that really pissed me off. For example, there's one scene where they have to break in this old woman's house, and she's like, there's this rumor about her that she's a murderer, that she murdered her husband, which all fine and good, you know, there's like these island rumors that are bound to happen. But then she actually turns out to be this like horror grandma, and she's blind and her eyes are like blue, but they're like piercing and shiny, and she attacks them with a stick. And I was like, what the F is happening? Like, it would have been funny to have her just be like a normal nice grandma and these are just rumors, but to actually have her be like this demon woman was so bizarre, and it didn't fit the story at all because everything was like semi-realistic. But then this like murderous grandma turns up and attacks them. It was just a bit strange, or a lot strange. Another scene that really pissed me off is that the two girls in the gang, of course, are enemies. They don't get on because they have a shared history, and Kiara hates Sarah, but Sarah has to help out, and they're just like, you either choose her or me. Classical two women can't get on storyline. And so the guys decide to leave them stranded on a boat together to force them to get on with each other. And I just thought that was such an old, annoying trope. To have these two women are so bitchy, but we as men are going to solve this. We're going to leave them on a boat and they're going to get on with each other. And in the end, they do get on with each other, which I liked, obviously. But I just found the whole thing so annoying. It was the fact that the men had to force them. It wasn't their own decision to actually, like, be adults about it and be like, okay, let's talk this through. They were forced by these guys who thought they knew better because, oh, their little drama, ha ha ha, how ridiculous, okay, I'm getting angry. But in the end, the problem they were fighting about was pretty silly. So I was like, okay, they are teenagers, I guess. It was because they were besties in school, and then the popular girl didn't invite the other girl to her birthday party. That was a bit stupid. It could have been a more dramatic story, you know, like an actual fight, but that was just like a teen drama. But I guess they are teens, so it makes sense. It was just a bit wild. I don't know. I just have to say, I did have fun watching it, but I think I would have had more fun if I hadn't known anything about it beforehand. If I hadn't known the hype, if I hadn't known it was such a successful show and that people were talking about it all last year, I think I would have just watched and be like, lol, this is like a funny teen romance action type thing. But now I just kind of felt disappointed because I was expecting this amazing show, this really dramatic, cool show, which is like really well written, blah, 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 but it wasn't really. But that's okay. I'll definitely watch the second season for the lols. And maybe it won't disappoint. Maybe it'll be even better. And if it stays the same, that's fine too, because I did have fun, but it was just... it was just crazy. And I fear, like I said, it's going to be the next Riverdale. So I'm crossing my fingers that it's not for everyone involved. For us as viewers, and for the makers of the show. I would love to hear your opinions on the show. If you have any, did you love it? Did you hate it? I know I'm very late to the hype. Maybe no one cares anymore. Thank you so much for watching this far if you did. I'd love for you to subscribe. I make videos about books and shows and films, and I have a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day and a lovely summer. And think about handsome Squidward more, because he's handsome. Bye.